Hey, what's up guys, and welcome in this new video where I'm gonna show you what's inside our new sample pack Isolate Volume 2. So this sample pack has been inspired by the sounds of Solid Grooves, Bibi, PAWSA and many more, and it's the second volume of our already popular Isolate sample pack. So let's start by looking at the bass loops. So we have 30 bass loops, each one of them is key labeled and it's at 128 BPM. So let's listen to some of them. Obviously, each one of these bass lines has also its own MIDI. Then we have some bass one-shots. Each one of them is in the key of C, so it's gonna be really easy for you to just put it in the sampler and create your own bass line. Then we have the drum loops, so let's start with the full loops. The at loops. Percussion loops. And the top loops. As for the drum one-shots, we have the claps, the cymbals. So first of all, we have some crashes, closed hi-hats, open hi-hats, and rides. Then the kick drums, percussion, and the snares. In this second volume of Isolate, we also have some glitch loops. Really good for some background sounds. Then we have the Ableton Starter project and the FL Studio Starter project that we're gonna cover later. Some pad loops. Then the synth loops. So here we have 30 loops and each one of them is key labeled as well. And obviously the midis. In this case we also have the one-shots. Then moving on, we have 10 trumpet loops. Here also they are all key labeled. And we also have the MIDI. Last thing in the sample pack are the vocal loops. So now let's move on into the starter projects. This is the Ableton starter project. So as you can see, we already have some channels, the kick, bassline, drum, synth, pad, vocal and effects. As for the kick drum, we simply have a drum rack with all the kicks from the sample pack, so you can easily create a MIDI track and select the kick you like the best, like this. Then in the bassline we have the first bassline one shot, and we also have a bit of processing, so just an equalizer cutting the very low frequencies, a bit of compression and sidechain. Then we have this drum group. As you can see on the group we have some EQ and some compression, and inside we just have the single drum channels. So here as well for the clap we have just a drum rack with all the claps, so you can easily choose which one you like, and it's the same for the open hat, closed hat, percussion, snare, ride. And at the end we also have an audio track for your loops with just an EQ on. Final channels are the synth, so here as well we just have the one shot with a bit of processing, so just an EQ to cut the low frequencies and the sidechain. The pad channel, which is an audio channel with an EQ and the sidechain, and at the end we have the vocal. So here we have a bit more processing with the EQ, some compression and some multiband compression with this preset vocal control, and the last one is for the effects. So then let's move on into the send. We have the first send, which is the reverb for the drums, and it's simply the drums room preset from Ableton. And then we have the reverb for the vocal, which is the Vocaloid preset from the Ableton Reverb. On the master we also have a quick mastering chain with a utility to adjust the volume before entering in the mastering, and then we have an equalizer doing some mid-side EQ, the compressor with the add sustain preset and the limiter. So this project is really useful as a starting point to create your track, so you can just focus on the creative process and you don't have to worry about the technical stuff at the beginning. And now I'm gonna also show you the one in FL Studio. So as you can see, the one in FL Studio is basically the same concept of the one in Ableton. Obviously we had to use different techniques here. So as for the kick we have the FPC, which is the equivalent of the Ableton drum rack, and as you can see we have all the kicks. And by simply going on the piano roll you can just select the kick that you want to use. Then this channel is linked to the first mixer channel, and we have just a parametric EQ. Then the bassline, so as you can see only the one shot here, and we have a couple of equalizers. The first one cutting the really low and the really top, and the other one is to do some more surgical EQ. We also have the compressor. Then moving on we have this drums bus where all of these other drum channels are sent, and as you can see the concept is basically the same. So we have the claps, open hat, percussion, closed hat, rides and snares in the FPC, and as for the processing we only have a first equalizer to cut the low and the top, and the other one for some surgical EQ. Last channels are the synth, so we have the synth one shot together with the same two EQs. Then we have this pad loop, and the processing here is the same. Last thing is the vocal channel, so we have this first vocal loop here, and the processing here is a bit more complex. So we have the same two EQs, we have a compressor, a multiband compressor and a fruity reverb. Here we also have a bit of mastering, starting with the fruity balance to adjust volume before the mastering, same two EQs to cut the low and the top and to do some surgical EQ, the fruity compressor and the limiter at the end. So basically that's all that you're gonna find inside of Isolate Volume 2. Let us know what tutorial would you like to see next, and I'll see you soon. Bye!